Hello everyone. In this video, we will be discussing about module 3, the second part topic, that is chemical machining. So already in the previous videos, we very clearly discussed about what is chemical machining, the major components, what kind of chemicals to be used for the process. So all those things we discussed. Along with that, the different procedure to be followed for the chemical machining also we discussed. In this video, we will be discussing about two important topic, that is in the chemical machining process. The two important we can call it as a chemicals, or we can call it as a part of the major process, that is maskants and etchants we will be discussing, and even advantages, disadvantages and applications also we will be discussing. So we are all aware, like in the previous video itself, during the working and operation of the chemical machining, we were very much aware of this word maskants and etchants. So maskant is basically a masking material, and which is called a like a maskant, and it is used to protect workpiece surface from the chemical etchant. So usually polymer or the rubber based materials are generally recommended for the masking procedure, and the selected maskant material should have some of the properties, and some of the properties is mentioned here. The very first one is it should be tough enough to withstand handling. So why I am talking with I'm going with this particular point, like tough enough to withstand handling means some maskants will be there, whether it is starting from buying or availability or cost, whatever you take. So all these things may be like very difficult, and even during the processing also it will be very difficult sometimes. So I should be like very careful whether it is easy to handle, and same time whether it is fulfilling our requirements. And next one is well adhering to the workpiece surface maskants, and we have some restrictions with the chemical machining. So and whether the maskants whatever I'm recommending, whether it could be able to fulfill the requirements of the workpiece what I have chosen. And next one is easy scribing, because scribing is a part of this chemical machining process, so it should be very easy and inert to the chemical reagents used, because for the a process we will be using different etchants. So the maskant should not go under any kind of the chemical reactions, so the maskant should be it should be very inactive to the all the chemical reagents, and it should be able to withstand the heat used during the chemical machining. And finally it should be easy and inexpensive removal after chemical machining etchant maskants. And even sometimes we can go with the multiple maskant coatings also, which is basically for providing a higher etchant resistance, and a long exposure time is also required when thicker and rougher dip or spray coatings are used. And various maskant application methods can also be used, such as dipping, brushing, spraying and electro coating, as well as adhesive tapes also recommended. Possible maskant materials for different workpiece materials were already discussed, but once again I will be discussing in the table format. Then what is etchant? So this is the very important, or we can call it as the most influential factor in the chemical machining of any material, and various etchants are available due to the workpiece material, because we cannot go with only one particular etchant material, because based on the workpiece material what we are using, we will be choosing different etchant material. And the best possible etchant should have the properties what I will be discussing now. First one should be high etch rate, because it is a major quality what we are looking for in the chemical machining process. It should be able to remove the excess material during, as a result of the chemical process. And next one, it should have good surface finish, and this is a very common requirement for all the non-traditional machining process, because this is the problem which we are not getting properly in the conventional machining process. Only in the most of the non-traditional machining process where we could expect a good surface finish. And the next one is nothing but minimum undercut. So here the minimum undercut means I need to make sure that this chemical etchants is removing the required amount of the excess material, but at the same time I need to make sure that you should not remove the excess material which is out of my dimensions. So the etchants it should able to I could able to dilute it in any time, and even it should be able to respond according to my requirements. And next one is compatibility with commonly used maskants and etchants, because sometimes there may be some problems with the etchant material and the maskant material. There are more chances it may like a chemically reactive. So we should be very careful whether it is compatible with both maskens and etchants. And next one is a high dissolved material capacity, which is very much required for all the chemical machining process, and it is economic regeneration. So I could able to reuse it again and again, and even it is not so expensive, and it is basically an easy control of process and personal safety maintenance, very good. So what is the usually recommended material is ferric chloride. So chemically we can write as FeCl3. It is the most widely used etchant in chemical machining process and is mainly used for etching iron based alloys as well as copper and its alloys, aluminiums, etc. And even cupric chloride is also there, that is CuCl2, is generally applied for copper and copper based alloys in electronics industry, because various regeneration systems are also available for the based etchants. And we have even alkaline etchants and that are introduced to the fabrication of the electronic components such as printed circuit boards. And here I can able to see like what is the different etchant material and its etchant. So the purpose is to dissolve a metal by turning it into a metallic salt, which then goes into solution. And we have many chemicals which are available as etchants, like we can FeC13, like octomic acid, FeNO3, HF, HNO3, like these are different etchants. And etchant selection is based on various criteria. So we can able to see if the material is aluminium, means we should use the caustic soda as etchant, and if the material is steel and the etchant supposed to be hydrochloric acid, and if the material is magnesium, the etchant supposed to be nitric acid, and if it is titanium, the same etchant nitric acid we can use, and for stainless steel, iron chloride. So even though like many materials are there, like I am just going with very common materials for most of the applications, only these materials are recommended. So that is why I am going with these materials and its corresponding etchant. I think we have advantages and disadvantages that we can continue in the next video, where we will be mainly discussing about, because already we discussed about electrochemical machining along with its chemical honing and chemical grinding, electrochemical grinding, all those things also we have discussed. But along with that, the chemical machining is very important, because the chemical machining process, it's mainly based on the type of etchants and the maskens what we are using. And even some students may also get doubts, that is if the apart from this aluminium, in case if it is an aluminium alloy, what kind of etchant can be used, or if it is like a stainless steel with a different like a carbon composition, like what is the etchant can be used. In such situation we can go with aluminium, means aluminium or aluminium related materials, we can go with caustic soda. And if it is like they are simply mentioning steel, like it may be like C30 steel, C40 steel, whatever the thing, we can go with like for all the different types of steel materials, hydrochloric acid is recommended. And here the base material is mentioned, so adding up a few more metals or few more alloys into this, that will not cause much problem into the etchant selection. So for the base material and its alloys, these etchants can be recommended. Thank you.